Hiya guys, so I found this new channel. I know I've been saying I'm going to be reacting to like scary stuff and blah blah blah. And the stuff I've been finding, yeah, hasn't really been that scary. It's been a bit, whack to be honest. But this channel, however, I've got high hopes for. Now, this video is like 2 hours long. I'm not going to do 2 hours, so I'm going to do this one in parts. So maybe about four or something. So the channel's called Fear Tales. Now, with the name of that, you'll be thinking, yeah, this is all about fear and scare and blah blah blah. So we're just gonna get into it. So let's go. So yeah, here we are.
The video captures a couple stepping onto a centrifuge-style amusement ride. They strap in expecting the usual adrenaline rush that comes with fast bends and sudden swings. At first, everything seems routine. The operator starts the ride and gives it a push to help it gain momentum, but almost immediately, something feels off. The swinging motion picks up speed faster than expected, and it's clear this ride isn't going to plan.
I don't like any ride that goes upside down. Not for me at all. Doesn't look so scary. I hope it doesn't fall off or something. It's a bit fast. Holy! Is that just me or is that just speeding up and getting a bit faster? What's he doing, the operator? He's just like looking the other way. Is the ride going to fall? Oh, please tell me this isn't going to fall off. Holy shit, that's fast! What the hell? Think of the G-forces that these people are going through. They're probably passed out by now. Holy shit, that's we're seeing him like that. Please don't let it fall off, and please let these people be okay. My God.
What begins as a thrill quickly turns into a tense and unpredictable moment. The ride is supposed to swing back and forth before gradually building up to full 360-degree loops. But in this case, something clearly goes wrong. Instead of slowing down between cycles, it speeds up.
Obviously something's gone wrong. The thing's going about 600 miles an hour.
People is trapped in their seats as the arm spins faster and faster, well beyond what seems normal. Rides like this can subject passengers to dangerously high G-forces. The faster it spins, the more pressure builds on the body. At a certain point, these forces can cause blood to pool in the lower half of the body, cutting off oxygen to the brain. If the braking system fails and the ride keeps accelerating, the risk of serious harm rises fast. This is where a thrill can turn into something far more dangerous. A trail camera is set up near a quiet...
Wait, what? What's the conclusion? We need to know what the conclusion is. Did they manage to stop the ride? Were the people okay? What happened? We need to know. Oh, bloody hell, please don't tell me it's going to be a whole bunch of videos that we never get the conclusion of, what happens next. At least with one like that. We don't even get the area where it's from so I can check and see. But my God, is that ride going fast? That's what I said. The G-forces would knock these people out. And going too fast and continuously, going too fast, you can die from that. So, but we don't even know what happened to these people. So yeah, if you're alive, I hope you're okay. If you're not, God rest your soul, and stay away from rickety machines. Did you see that thing? It looked like it was welded together in somebody's garage. There's absolutely no way in hell I would ever have got on that rusty, dusty 1940s wired up Yeah, piece of junk. Alright, next video.
Campsite captures something no one expected. The footage starts out normal, just another calm night in the woods. Nothing out of place, nothing unusual. But that changes fast. Suddenly, something massive moves into view. A large predator creeping through the darkness comes shockingly close
What?
to the campsite.
That's a
The encounter
bear.
is quick but chilling, and it's all caught on camera.
Oh, it's a bear! Like, bears, oh, you can't win a fight with a bear. That is a bear, and please tell me there's no one in that tent. Oh no! Fuck off, bear! What's he doing? Oh.
During the day, a small dog runs playfully around the campsite, completely
my
unaware
God, again, like, what happens next? Well, and also, if nothing happens next, what is so scary about that? A trail camera catching a bear in the woods with maybe an abandoned tent. I thought someone was in the tent because there's like a dog running around and they had their pet with them or something. But so if that's just an abandoned tent and there's just like a rat, you know, like a stray dog, like, which is a shame in itself, you know, that's maybe the thing that's the scariest thing, I guess. A dog running around the woods, but a bear. You've seen, like, that's the fearful thing in this. I thought there was going to be people in the tent.
danger that's not far off. But as night falls, the mood shifts. The light fades and the forest grows still. Then out of the darkness, a massive grizzly bear appears. It wanders.
Oh, imagine that. A bear in the woods where bears are in America or wherever this is, you know. The mood shifts, and at night, a bear is spotted in the woods, you know, where bears live. Listen, I'm sorry I'm taking the piss out of your video, but so far we've had a dusty, rusty ride where we don't get the outcome of, and a bear being captured by a trail cam next to what a street looks like because of the amount of leaves on it, an abandoned tent.
Through the campsite slowly, passing disturbingly close to the tent. At several points, it comes within just a few feet of where the campers are likely sleeping. Thankfully, the bear doesn't linger. It moves on without causing harm. With a close call, it's hard to ignore.
There was campers in it. Why didn't you say that at the beginning? But how do we know there's campers in it? Because, like, oh, well, maybe there must be, because why would... But some people do put trail cameras up for hunting, I guess. But if there's campers in that tent, they're incredibly lucky. Incredibly lucky.
Ian, a 30-year-old content creator who runs the YouTube channel Ian on YouTube, has been documenting his life and adventures for nearly a decade. His videos range from casual workday vlogs to more daring escapades after dark. But on January 18th, 2024, Ian uploaded a video unlike anything he had shared before, a chilling account of a stealth camping experience that took a terrifying turn. For those unfamiliar, stealth camping involves sleeping overnight in a vehicle or tent in places not meant for camping, like parking lots, while trying to remain unnoticed. It's done for a variety of reasons: necessity, curiosity, or simply for the thrill. But the risk is clear. When you're hidden in plain sight, you're vulnerable to anything or anyone that might be lurking nearby.
What's the stealth camping? I've never heard of that. Sleeping in a car park or somewhere like that. Doesn't that feel a bit like a... I don't know, that feels a bit like a piss take because, like, there's actual homeless people that do have to, like, sleep outside and stuff like that. I don't know, like, I feel like this is, like, a bit lowbrow, but filming yourself, like, sleeping in your car. Well, let's get on with the video and see what happens. But to me, yeah, some YouTubers, like, I think they use some people's misfortunes a little bit and take it too far.
On the night of January 16th, 2024, Ian decided to stealth camp in the parking lot of a McDonald's in Palm Springs, California, having camped in far worse conditions before, from downpours to sandstorms.
Oh my god. I've been trapped in such worse conditions before. Try being homeless! God almighty. At least this dude's got a car. Homeless people, like, they don't. Some of them don't even have tents or anything like that. Unbelievable worse conditions. He's got a car. The car's got a heater. He's got a blanket. He's nice and cozy and stuff. Joke.
He figured this night would be uneventful. He set up his vehicle and settled in for the night, lying in the back of his car ready to sleep. But just as he was dozing off, something jolted him awake. The unmistakable sound of someone trying to open his car door. Again and again. Startled, Ian shot up, heart racing. He peered through the fogged up windows to see who or what was outside, and that's where things took a turn.
What's going on, man?
He's got a nice car too. Did you see that? The little touch screen pad looks a bit like a Tesla or something like that. And he's just like left it in McDonald's in America, you know, during formaldehyde Sleepy Joe's time. Yeah, a lot of cars were being stolen. So yeah, people were just stealing cars like anywhere. There were certain areas you just couldn't even like drive your car through, or you get carjacked. I don't know if it's still happening, but you couldn't even leave your car parked in areas in certain areas of Chicago and stuff like that, or it'd be gone. You go in for your burger, come out, no car. So leaving your car in a McDonald's, making it look as though, you know, like it's just like left there. Yeah, I'm not shocked that someone's trying to rob it. God. Must be scary.
What's going on?
Though.
What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? What are you doing?
There was a man standing silently outside the passenger door.
He's obviously trying to rob your car, you know. Get in the driver's seat and drive away, idiot.
He didn't knock, he didn't speak, just stood there, his hand still on the door handle as if waiting for it to open. He just stared, motionless. The stillness made it worse. There was no aggression, no urgency, just a chilling calm. Ian, still groggy but alert, called out to him. Once, then again, louder. "Can I help you?" But the man never responded.
I wonder if the guy's like homeless and thinking to himself like, fuck you bastard, it's freezing out here, you know? Look, can I have your passenger seat? I don't think that is the reason. I think this is someone trying to steal his, because you can see like the nice like you know, the nice touch screen iPad-y thing in the front and stuff. So you can see it's like a nice car. So yeah, I think his car's being stolen, but it would have been scary.
Word.
Hey, bro. What's up?
Yeah, that's a nice car. Nice interior.
What you doing, man? Ain't weird, bro.
Despite his rising panic, Ian stayed calm and made the smart choice. He kept his doors locked and quietly started his engine. He eased his car into a more secluded spot in the parking lot, hoping to avoid further attention. But it didn't end there. Just minutes later, Ian spotted the same man again, wandering through the lot, peering between vehicles as if searching for something or someone. It became clear the man might be trying to find Ian's car. At that point, Ian didn't take any chances. Pulled out of the lot and
look. He's got like the nice like camera at the back of the car, you know, so he wouldn't yeah, it's got like motion. Yeah, it looks like Teslas, like most models nowadays, I guess, like, but yeah. Someone's gonna nick that car if they think it's just lay there abandoned at a McDonald's.
Ian drove to a completely different location, far enough away to feel safe. There, he managed to get a few hours of sleep. Still, the questions lingered. Who was that man? What was he really trying to do? Why didn't he say anything, even when Ian spoke directly to him? Ian never posted a follow-up.
He probably didn't say anything because he was one of the millions of illegal migrants that Sleepy Joe let in. Do we have a date on this and we'll be able to know? Yeah. 2024 is probably one of the illegals that Sleepy Joe didn't that allowed to just walk over the American border. You know, a bit of like our country's doing with the dinghy boats, like the little boats that we've got rowing, and well, they're not rowing, but you know what I mean, rowing into our shores, hundreds of thousands of bloody foreigner illegal migrants coming into our country. But yeah, maybe the guy just didn't speak English, because like, remember, these are people that are coming from countries that don't speak English, so maybe he didn't speak back because he didn't know what this guy was saying. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but that's only the thing I can think of, because just guesstimate, you know. You don't like to like judge anybody by their looks or anything, but let's have a look at him again.
He managed to get a few hours of sleep. Still, the questions lingered. Who was that man?
Yeah, looks like it could be Middle Eastern, maybe someone from Venezuela, El Salvador, you know, South American. You just, yeah. So maybe he just doesn't speak English, but the fact is, like, yeah, he's trying to nick your car, mate. So
What was he really trying to do? Why didn't he say anything?
Why, you know, what was it like? That's what I mean about this channel. I'm sorry to keep taking the piss. In the creepy voice, what was he really trying to do? As he's trying to open the door handle and get into the car. I don't know, maybe rob it? What else would someone be trying to, like, open someone else's, check someone else's door handles and try to open the door in a dark night in a parking lot, like at McDonald's where everything's shut? Do you think that might what he would be trying to do? Or do you think he was trying to, like, wash the car for the owner coming back in the morning to a nice crisp clean car? Oh my god. I'm so sorry, but he was obviously trying to steal the car.
When Ian spoke directly to him, Ian never posted a follow-up. No extra footage, no theories. The video's description gave no new details, so all we can do is speculate. Some believe the man may have been mentally
That's all we can do with all the videos that we've watched of yours so far. Speculate, because we never got a conclusion.
ill, lost in his own world, unaware of his actions.
No.
That would explain his silence, his stillness, and his...
The man might be lost in his own world. Or no. I'm willing to bet my money on it that he is probably an illegal migrant that is living on the street, because many of them were, because the shelters and whatnot were overrun, the hotels and that were overrun, because they were using hotels to begin with. But then they started using homeless shelters to try and save more money, because like they were dealing with millions. Like, us idiots in the UK keep using hotels for them, nice ones, by the way. And he probably didn't speak English, so he maybe didn't understand what the guy was saying. Or I have no clue. I've never robbed a car in my life. I've never tried to get into someone's car. Well, actually, I have. I tried to get into someone else's taxi by accident, but that's a story for another day, and it was so bloody humiliating. I got into the car with some other passengers, and I'm like, isn't this my taxi? And I'm looking around, and there's like these other two people in the taxi, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I looked to the side, and my taxi's on the other side, so I got out. I was so embarrassed, but yeah. So that's the amount of the experience I have in this situation. But I think, like, mentally ill and lost in his own world. I don't know.
Decision to simply walk away when confronted, but a darker theory feels more plausible. Maybe the man was trying to break in, thinking the car was empty.
think?
When Ian's voice startled him, he played it cool, pretending to be confused or harmless to avoid escalating the situation.
Yeah.
It's possible he was hoping to steal the car, or worse, maybe he knew Ian was inside and had far more sinister intentions. His behavior also hinted at possible drug use. His silence, wandering, and persistence could all point to someone not in their right mind, which would have made him even
Nah, I think he's just wandered in the car park, checking cars, seeing if any of the doors are left open, and obviously seeing what ones are certain models that are easier to steal, I guess. That is likely what is going on here. If you look at you just look at what's the most plausible explanation.
more unpredictable and dangerous. Whatever the truth, Ian was lucky. He trusted his instincts, stayed locked in, and got out before anything worse could happen. This next video was captured by a Ring camera mounted outside a home. At first, everything seems calm. Young ones are playing in the yard, laughing and running around like any other afternoon. Nothing appears out of the ordinary, but then something happens that changes the mood in an instant. The camera catches a moment that's both unexpected and deeply unsettling, enough to make your stomach drop. Watch this.
Gabe, it was even scarier because they were Mexican. Yay! Get your mom! Oh, someone's trying to kidnap us! They kidnapped my car! Asshole, they're coming! Someone's trying to kidnap Jay! What they ask? Oh my god! Jonathan, get in! Bro! Oh my god! Bro, he just tried to abduct us!
Oh my gosh. Lucky kids. And bravo to the parents. Bravo to make those kids know if a stranger danger is something you need to teach your kids around. You need to. And I'm so glad they were in a group where they can kind of protect each other and but yeah, well done parents for teaching your kids stranger danger and telling them to run as fast as they can and get away from. And what a bloody these people, because you know what they're going to kidnap a child for. Sick nonsense. Oh, they just make me sick, anyone that tries to kidnapping kids, and as I says, you know what it's going to be for. It's always perverts and stuff. So yeah, always teach your child stranger danger. But yeah, that would have been absolutely frightening if that monster had managed to get a hold of one of those children. Oh.
The video begins with a car pulling up quietly near a group of youngsters playing outside. At first, it doesn't raise much concern until one of the doors opens. A person inside the vehicle steps out and starts moving toward one of the young ones. It quickly becomes clear this isn't just someone passing by. Something is wrong. In a flash, the other children notice and race to get help. They call out to the mother, who runs outside without hesitation. The moment she appears, the situation changes.
He's definitely running to try and grab one of those children. But yeah, applaud these parents for teaching their kids about stranger danger and about kidnapping, because they automatically knew that guy was trying to kidnap one of them.
The person backs off, gets into the car, and speeds away. Thankfully, no one is harmed. But the incident is a powerful reminder how fast things can go from ordinary to dangerous, and why staying aware and acting quickly can make all the difference. A shocking video captures the moment a small tanker truck carrying pressurized flammable gas suddenly malfunctions. What starts as a routine scene turns chaotic in seconds. The tank experiences a catastrophic failure, releasing its contents with explosive force. The pressure sends the entire vehicle hurling forward.
The thing boosted off like a rocket. Did you see that thing? Let me look again.
Pressurized flammable gas suddenly malfunctions. What starts as a routine scene turns chaotic in seconds. The tank experiences a catastrophic failure, releasing its contents with explosive force.
Boom!
The pressure sends the entire vehicle hurtling forward, no longer
Whoa!
functioning as a truck, but as a makeshift rocket on wheels.
Yeah. Could have been in that thing.
It's a violent and dangerous chain reaction that shows just how volatile these types of transports can be when something goes wrong. The
Yeah.
incident appears to have started when a tank, likely containing liquid natural gas, failed under pressure. The rear end of the tank gave way suddenly, blasting open and violently releasing its contents. That
Imagine driving that truck, you know, like you're on the road and stuff, and that happens, and you're blasted off, but in your wake, you know, you're like a Hiroshima bomb. You're taking everybody out that's behind you, everybody out that's, yeah, quite
police didn't
dangerous.
just cause a mess, it launched the entire truck nearly 50 meters down the road. Moments later, the gas ignited. A wall of fire erupted behind the truck,
that other
lighting up the
truck
scene
as
in an
well.
instant.
Well done,
Events like
Eva.
this can happen for a number of reasons: overpressurization, structural damage, or even a malfunctioning pressure relief valve. If the tank can't vent properly, pressure builds until something gives. Cryogenic liquids like LNG are especially dangerous in these situations. When exposed to air, they expand rapidly, creating an explosive burst.
We didn't ask for a science lesson here, you know. We just want to see the videos, like, yeah. I appreciate, like, the science and stuff like that, but, yeah, it's not needed.
Force strong enough to launch heavy objects with terrifying speed. Snow cornices freak me out. If you are skiing or mountaineering, they're one of the scariest things you can run into. That or falling into a hidden crevice.
Whoa, holy shit! What happened to him? Oh, he's gone. Where is he? Like, one of them's literally, the snow's just literally collapsed under their feet. So the other one of them, some of them are backing off, but the one with the camera is like edging towards the edge again. Like, God, I would not be edging towards. Obviously, you're going to be concerned about your friend, but you're not like worried that like another part of it is going to, like, because it's now all disturbed, that another part of that lip or whatever is then just going to fall as well, and you're gone too. What? Like, I hope he's okay, but yeah, it looks like he's gone. Don't go near the edge. Why would you even go near the edge?
The others rush over to see, but all they can make out is a blur of falling snow and debris. You can't see the drop, but you know it's there. Snow cornices are no joke. These ledges of overhang.
Yeah, it's like caused like an avalanche and stuff. That guy, yeah, I think he's gone.
Snow looks solid, but can collapse without warning. Step too close and you might take the whole thing down with you. They're one of the biggest risks for skiers and mountaineers, and everyone's taught to stay well back. In this next video, a tree cutting...
Again, what is the conclusion? What happened to the guy? Did he survive? Did they manage to find him? Like, what? Like, judging by the size of the fall, however, so I'll have to, like, make the conclusion myself, and the avalanche that was caused, I'm willing to bet, yeah, the guy that probably didn't make it. So rest in peace, hiker, and stay away from the edge of, like, snow cliffs. Yeah.
Event is underway in what looks like a small town square. A crowd is gathered to watch. People stand at a distance, some filming, expecting to see the big tree fall without trouble. But not everything goes according to plan. As the work begins, it's clear that something's off. The cut doesn't go quite as intended, and the tree starts to lean the wrong way. What should have been a controlled fall quickly turns tense. Watch how it all transpires and how quickly...
Why is that an event? Like a skinny tall tree. There's people out like watching it like it's a bloody parade. Like, what's so like interesting about that? I'm so confused. Like, what? Not does nothing happen in your town that's exciting? That the most exciting thing is for you all to gather around to like watch a skinny old tree, that's lost all its leaves and branches, like be taken down. Yeah, I'm confused. Why is this even an event?
Your routine task can take a dangerous turn.
Whoa!
In the video, the tree.
And then also, wouldn't you like have, for safety reasons? I don't know. Maybe like have, if crowds are gathering, maybe have them that part of the street kind of cordoned off, especially maybe even have a couple of police there to tell people, look, we're taking this old rusty dusty tree down, and it could be dangerous. Like, you've got people standing out and, no, sorry, that's not someone. Well, that was people. What the hell is that, in fact? What is that? Some kind of mascot for the building? The scariest thing about this video is that mascot. Yeah, that's creepy as hell, but look, you've got people standing with their kids, people standing to the side, whole bunch of them, just like watching it like it's the 4th of July parade. But yeah, wouldn't you like make the area more safe? And then that tree, like, shatters into millions of pieces. Like, could have like gone into like people, like it could have like been like shrapnel and lodged into people.
Begins to fall toward the crowd, and panic sets in instantly. People scatter in every direction, running to get out of the way. At first, the tree looks like it's going to fall in one predictable direction, but then the tension shifts at the stump, and the trunk veers off course mid-fall. The massive tree comes crashing down and shatters on
Look at
impact.
the amount of people just standing there watching a tree being cut down. Oh my god! We get trees and that taken down all the time because like they maybe started to rot and stuff like that, but we don't make a town event of it. Oh, flyers through the door. Oh, Saturday, by the way, a tree's coming down in the West Park. Gather round, gather ye all. We're making a big festival of it. No one cares. No one cares. And plus, our park services here would never allow like crowds like that to gather around just to watch because of safety reasons, because sometimes you cannot be too sure when where the tree's going to land. And aren't you meant to shout like timber? I don't know.
Standing directly between two men who are trying to escape. Somehow, both men walk away without a scratch. It's a lucky outcome, and a clear reminder how dangerous tree cutting can be, especially in crowded places.
Again. So why allow crowds to gather around to watch? My God.
In March of 2025, South Camping, Utah. YouTuber Daniel Mark Brown set out for what was supposed to be a peaceful overnight stay in the woodlands near Austria, England. His plan was straightforward: follow one of the region's many.
That's England. I was about to say, yeah. It looks a bit like I'm lying here. It could be America. I don't know. I was about to say it looks a bit like an English park, but yeah, it could have been anywhere. I'm totally talking crap.
hiking trails, then veer off into the forest to find a hidden spot to camp undisturbed. It worked better than he anticipated. Within minutes, he had discovered a perfectly secluded area surrounded by thick brush and trees, entirely out of sight. After dropping off his gear, Daniel made his way to a nearby river to cook dinner and take in the quiet scenery. The sun began to set by the time he returned to his hidden spot, and with the trail nearly deserted, he felt a calming sense of isolation. He rolled out his sleeping bag, zipped himself in, and drifted off to sleep, completely unaware that his night was about to take a terrifying turn. Roughly 90 minutes later, Daniel was jolted awake. Something or someone was moving outside his tent.
I've 100% been spotted. Right, I'm trying to keep calm and keeping calm. I'm almost too scared to breathe here.
Well, I can guarantee you it's going to be a person, because we don't have bears and stuff like that in Britain. We just don't. I think we have some, like, I don't know, cougars or whatever in the Highlands, maybe. But there's not. I think the most dangerous thing in the forests of Britain are squirrels. Maybe some rabbits, owls. Yeah, I can't think of like stuff that's in even Scotland, England, Wales, or Ireland. That you go into the woods for a hike that you're gonna have to like be very cautious of being attacked by. We definitely don't have bears. We don't have I don't know, like, do we have mountain lions? I don't think so. Maybe we do. Maybe we do in Scotland, but like I've never heard of anybody being mauled by like a bear, like, because we just don't have them. So in Britain we're relatively safe from dangerous things like dangerous spiders, snakes, like large like forest animals like bears and stuff. Even in the waters, like nobody goes into the sea or anything because it's bloody freezing. But yeah, we don't have like sharks. Like we have penguins, I guess. But yeah, so it's I'm betting that this is a person.
I think a dog or something just came in.
It wasn't an animal. The footsteps were too deliberate, too slow. Then came the sounds of twigs snapping. Someone was there. Daniel woke to the sharp crack of a branch breaking just a few feet away, followed by the unmistakable glow of a flashlight. Daniel mustered the courage to slowly unzip his sleeping bag, careful not to make noise. He inched toward the edge of his tent and carefully peeked through a small gap in the fabric.
Oh, that's right. They're looking straight at me. I am trying not to panic.
If it's somebody with a light, normally out in the forest in Britain, it's normally like you get like UFO kind of people and stuff like that go into like dark spots and to look up at the sky away from like light pollution and stuff. Like, grab your hunting right. Like, we don't have like guns and stuff in Britain. So grab your knife, mate. Cause surely you have like a little camping knife, and they're probably scared of you as like you are of them. They're probably thinking that's why they're probably shining their light over to you, because they're hearing someone like rustling and something in front of them. That's why they're shining their light. They're like paranormal people or something, looking for ghosts in the forest or something. That's what I'm willing to think they are.
At this point, Daniel's nerves were shot. His mind raced with possibilities. Was it a hiker, a local, or someone with far worse intentions? With the flashlight now aimed directly at his tent, illuminating him through the thin fabric, he felt exposed, cornered. He knew staying silent wouldn't help, so he called out, "Hey!"
Scary, but I'm willing to bet like that's what it is. It's the reason why they're shining it over at him is because like you can hear like the plastic of his tent. I just said it.
When there, no response.
Hello?
I bet you if these are paranormal people, they're like, oh, Did you hear that ghost voice? Hello? And they've got their little tape recorders. We just got a classic ABP of someone saying hello in the forest.
They haven't been about, I haven't seen a single light now for maybe 5-10 minutes. I don't even know.
Yeah, they're probably
I've been just
scared
trying
as well.
to keep as calm as possible. But when they walked off and the light went out, I don't even know which direction they were. But somewhere in that direction. I'll forget it. Let's just go.
Daniel sat there for minutes unmoving, listening for footsteps, but all he heard was a wind in the branches. The figure was never seen again. The encounter shook Daniel to his core. Without wasting a second, he packed up his gear as fast as he could, barely taking the time to roll up his sleeping bag or secure his supplies properly.
That's
His
a
only
cool
focus
sleeping
was
bag.
getting out of the woods, but the thought kept circling in his mind. If the person with the flashlight had malicious intent, then leaving might have been the most dangerous part of all. The way the
It could have been that person's land because we have freedom. I don't know. Probably not. I'm willing to bet it's one of those UFO hunters that goes out looking in the sky because it's there's no light pollution out there, or it's we've got tons of those ghost hunting teams that go out and someone's probably doing solo they go off and they do their own solo investigations on their own, and this idiot's probably thought that's a ghost just said hello to him, and he's then freaked out and then scampered off.
figure had refused to respond, then calmly turned off their flashlight and vanished.
Yeah,
It was
they probably
unnerving.
ran
It didn't feel
away.
random. It felt intentional, like someone was watching, waiting, maybe to rob him or worse. Still, there's a chance it was all a misunderstanding. Maybe it was just someone out walking a dog or cutting through the woods late at night, and when they heard Daniel's voice call out from the darkness, they panicked too and fled.
Yeah.
But there's also the darker possibility that whoever it was had been trying to sneak up on Daniel, only backing off when they realized they'd been caught. Whatever the truth may
don't
be,
know.
Daniel didn't stick around to find out. He
fact
made it
they
back
put
to
the
safety
light
without seeing the
out-
person again. And though
The fact they put their light out as soon as he said hello and bolted themselves, I'm willing to bet that they got scared too and just got out of there.
nothing happened physically, the experience left a deep impression, a reminder that when you're alone in the woods, sometimes the scariest thing out there is another person.
It's
This
definitely
next
not
clip
an
was shared
animal
on
in
Reddit by
Britain.
user Shot Occasion 4294, and it's definitely one of the stranger ones. At first it looks like a normal video, but then they catch something peculiar.
What's that?
In the video, two massive ships appear to be hovering above
Yeah.
the ocean, like they're floating in midair. It looks surreal, almost like something out of a sci-fi movie. But the explanation is rooted in science.
It's an
What you're seeing
optical illusion where the guy's going to explain it, I'm betting, because he explained the whole other stuff. But yeah, it's oh, sorry, I didn't mean to
is
do
likely a Fata Morgana.
that. Zoom in on it. It's definitely an optical illusion. It's pretty cool.
A rare type of mirage that forms just above the horizon. It happens when light bends as it passes through layers of air with different temperatures.
cool.
These kinds of illusions are usually spotted over open water or wide flat areas like deserts. They can make ships, islands, or other distant objects look stretched, distorted, or in this case, completely airborne.
Yep.
On February 11th, 2024, stealth camping YouTuber Brendan Explores uploaded what was meant to be a simple overnight video, but it quickly turned into something far more unsettling.
I'm thinking the scariest stuff about this whole these compilation is the guys using this deep creepy voice, because so far it's been kinda again.
His destination, the small coastal village of Jaywick, England. Jaywick has long held a bleak title, the most deprived town in all of England, with high unemployment.
Essex. That's Essex in London. That's Essex in England. Bloody hell. What a shithole. Sorry, but that's in England. And they say our country is not turned into some third world shithole. There's the evidence right there in front of your eyes.
Crumbling infrastructure and limited opportunities,
What a
the area has
mess.
developed a rough reputation, often associated with crime and poverty. But Brendan wasn't there to judge. He wanted to see it for himself, beyond the headlines and statistics. At first of his
I cannot believe that is a town. Well, yeah, I can. I can believe that. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, my mouth was so dry there. I can't believe it's not a town in England because, do you know they've even got like towns in England and Scotland and stuff where we're separated in our country by something called like district. Well, so I guess like, and these districts called names are like, we'll go for Scotland. We'll have like the Highlands. We'll have like East Lothian, which like covers like places like Edinburgh and stuff. We'll have like West Lothian. We'll have you know, like Sussex is one, you know. I'm trying to like think of them. It's like my head's like not working just now, you know. But we have like these areas, and in these areas, so these catchment areas, they'll cover an array of towns and villages, and we have like things instead of like what you have in America. We have councils rather than like a governor, a senator, you know, that kind of thing. We'll have councils, and at the head of them we'll have an MP that goes to our government, and who speaks for that area. So these councils are what we pay our taxes to, and they're meant to like do all the repairs, you know, like for public spaces and like roads, and they're meant to cut the grass. They're meant to like pick up like the bins, rubbish, that kind of stuff, city kind of stuff, village, town kind of stuff. So what the hell is the council, like Essex is, some parts of Essex are pretty nice, you know, but like what the hell is the council doing with this area? Like, this is probably, this isn't the only area in Britain that's like this. There's areas in places like Birmingham, Manchester, a lot of these areas that are like this are areas with high pockets of immigration. So there's not a lot of like British, indigenous British people live there. A lot of crime, a lot of poverty, a lot of because what happens is immigrants or illegal immigrants and stuff will come to our country, and they'll come on things like student visas, and it's so stupid. With student visas, you're allowed to bring your whole family with you. They'll come themselves and they'll get a job somewhere, and then they'll bring their whole family, and then what happens is their whole family and them and the students and whatnot will move like to England or whatnot. And the family will then say like that there's been a split up or whatever, so then they need a house. So what they'll get is like social housing where the taxpayer pays for it, and then they'll also go on things like benefits where the taxpayer pays like, I think like the low amounts, like you maybe a couple, like 1,000 to a couple of £1,000 a month they'll get, but that's not including their rent is also covered on top of that. So that like that money that they get is separate because their rent's also paid for. Any council tax and things like that is also paid for by working people. So in these areas you end up with high pockets of people that are, you're on the take basically. So they're all on benefits, and then you'll get families. So you'll get like so we'll go for like the Islamic kind of community where you're allowed up to 4 wives. So they'll register. It's illegal to have any more than 1 wife in Britain, but they'll have 4 wives. And what they do is they marry these women in Islamic ceremonies, and not in a civil court, so it's not a civil marriage, so therefore it's not a legal marriage in Britain, but it's obviously legal in the Sharia kind of. It is so hard to like comprehend like how they get away with this. But so then they'll bring their wives over from the country like Pakistan, or where it's mostly like Pakistan, and so they'll bring their wives over, and so they'll have these wives, and each wife will then they'll get one of these council houses. They'll have like tons of children, so they'll get money for themselves. Then they'll get loads of money for the children, and they have tons and tons of children, so they end up with thousands. They get paid thousands a month. So each wife will have her own house, claiming that she doesn't live with a father, and she'll get this money. And then what the dad does to these kids is he'll spend 1 or 2 nights at one wife's house, 1 or 2 nights at the other, 1 or 2 nights at the other, and then all the benefits that these wives get, the man deals with. There was one case where the guy had 3 wives in Britain, and they were all getting benefits, and he was staying at each wife's house like that. 1 or 2 nights here, 1 or 2 nights there, 1 or 2 nights at the other one's house. And then he also had another wife in Morocco, and so we get the benefits that these women got. They actually then would give all the money to him, and he would divide it out between each wife. And so the benefits they were getting, he would give some. So wife 1 would give him all the money, wife 2 would give them all the money, wife 3 would give them all the money, and then he'd divide it up and also make a pile for wife 4 and send her the money because she's living in Morocco, because it's his responsibility to look after her, because under Islamic kind of law he's meant to take care of her. So our benefit system is like it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So we've got like these cultures that are sending money now to like their their 3rd or 4th wife that's living in another country from the benefits that are made off of the other wives that live in Britain. And so so in these areas, the amount of people that are on benefits is ridiculous. I just read a report that, and I know this is meant to be a scary video, but I'll just tell you this. I just read a report that, like, in these areas, these people who have, like, migrated here or whatever, from, like, places like Pakistan and stuff like that, India, not India, sorry, Hindus are actually, like, the hardest working people in Britain, but Bangladesh, places like that, are the highest people that are the highest population of people that are on benefits, and which is a joke. So even the student's family, the student will come here and go to university. They're allowed to bring their entire family over here. And then they'll claim they'll be like, oh, break up, we'll fail out, this, that, the other, and the family gets another house. Then someone out of the family will get, and then they'll get the benefits. Then someone else out of the family will be like, get married, but the wife's in, the future wife's like a girl from Pakistan, so they'll have the Islamic wedding, and they'll bring her over, and then they'll claim that they'll claim they live together for a few months. Then there's a marriage breakdown, even though there's not. And that she needs a house, and then she needs benefits to look after her because she's got 5 kids now, and no way of being able to go out and work, and for people to look after the kids as well. So she'll get paid for all those kids, she'll get the house and stuff, and he'll still either be sneaking in and living there, or he'll have multiple wives which he'll go and live with for each time through the week. It's an absolute mess. So that's why, like, our councils, but for our towns and stuff to get into this state, it's a joke. There was just a recent place, I think it was in Manchester, where the bin people went on strike or something, and therefore, like, the bins weren't collected for months and months. Now, this is meant to be a first world country. You drove into this place, and I'm not even joking, it looked like, you know, like a big rubbish tip where everybody's rubbish goes. Probably smelled like that as well. And this is in a place where there's houses and nurseries and schools and children's play parks. And there was rats running around everywhere. Rats! They were finding rats in the nursery schools and stuff like that. People were like, the size of like cats and stuff, you know, with these piles and piles of rubbish. And it was an utter disgrace, Even the people that they sent out to try and clean up the rubbish, like, they ended up refusing to do it because they were lifting up a bag and about 30 rats would run out, like, from under these bags. So, like, you know, rats are covered in, like, things like rabies and fleas and stuff. So, so they're refusing, you know, so... in order to, like, clean this up, we're gonna have to, like, get, like, pest control and all that and to, like, sort this out. It's an absolute joke. But to see a town in England, like, this isn't the only place in Britain. Can't just say England, because, like, there is places in Scotland and Glasgow that are maybe not as run down as this, but... Sorry about that long tangent.
Felt peaceful. Brennan admired the natural beauty around the village.
Natural
the sea
beauty?
breeze, open skies, and a certain quiet charm that contradicted its infamy. But things took a turn once he started scouting for a place to park his van for the night. He eventually settled on what seemed like a quiet parking lot. It felt removed enough to stay unnoticed and seemed safe at first. But as the sun dipped behind the horizon, warning signs started to appear. Locals roamed nearby with portable speakers blaring gangster rap. Groups of people on bikes or foot circled the area more than once.
Try to see if we can see the people. Sorry.
And then came the street racers. Out of nowhere, a group of modified cars tore down the road directly in front of the parking lot, engines roaring, tires screeching, bass shaking the ground.
So we do also have areas in Britain that are like no-go areas for, I'm sorry to say it, yeah, for white people. It is very dangerous for them to go into these places. Like, it's not all, like, not only Britain and not only British people, not only British migrants, and not all of, like, that are like, it seems to just be like little pockets, like, not little pocket, like pockets in certain areas. like places like Bradford and stuff like that. But there's a lot of knife crime, a lot of stabbings, a lot of like gangs, a lot of children stabbing each other and unfortunately getting killed. It's really sad. There's a lot of it in London. London has such a high amount of stabbings, and Essex actually just out like on the outskirts of London. So yep, I'm not shocked like that this is happening in an area that's like literally a stone's throw from London. And it doesn't look like. I mean, this looks like it could have been like a nice like place to live at one point, you know. But it looks as though they've just like tipped the poor people that have, I don't know, like that have migrated or whatever to Britain. It's just ran down. But he won't be welcome in a place if that's like a town that's being taken over by maybe people that are from Somalia or something like that, that the councils have decided. Like, I don't know why they've done that, because it's caused like not less integration. There's actually places in Britain where you can go and no one even speaks English. No one. GB News, MSM broadcaster recently went to one of these places and tried to interview people, and everybody that he spoke to couldn't speak English. One guy had to use his like 4-year-old daughter to try and explain to him what this reporter was asking him. He's looking at his kids like, what's he saying? You know, like all you hear from is no English, no English. Yeah, and he's asking them questions and they have no clue what he's saying. No clue, which is disgraceful. So it's like the government or these have packed. So if you're from a certain like region, like maybe like Bangladesh or Pakistan or somewhere like that, it feels like in some areas it's like that's where they've put this demographic of people. So they're not integrating with British people, you know, like even like British people that have like and I'm not just talking about like white British people, I'm talking about Indian British people, we've got Chinese British people, we've got black British people, we've got Asian British people, we've got all sorts of British people. But the newer kind of ones that have came to Britain, they've seemed to have, and I'm talking like the last maybe 10, 15, 20 years, yeah, they've seemed to have like put them all in these little areas. So they're obviously going to carry on speaking their own language, the one they obviously know, keep to their own culture and not mix with outside culture, you know. So they won't mix with like white Brits, they won't mix with like Chinese Brits, they won't mix with other black British people, they won't mix with like Asian British people. Like I think one of the worst like places like I've seen for it is a place in England called Bradford, where literally you can drive about and you feel like you're in the Middle East. But it's so dangerous, especially in some areas where they'll have like Sharia councils and stuff there, and I don't know why our government allows them to get away with it, but they'll use these Sharia councils to like do like the law and stuff. So it's like a parallel legal system we have in Britain. So we'll have everybody else under British law, but in these little areas they're under their Sharia, you know. But you can't even go into these areas because, like, if you're dressed a certain way, if you're gay and holding hands with someone, you know, I've seen it. There's videos on YouTube. of these Sharia enforcers going around these areas, like literally abusing people and running them out of what they claim this is our street, our area. You know, that's what they scream at these people. And like there's one video like where there's two gentlemen walking down holding hands who are a couple, and they're calling them the FAG word, which like just disgusting. And there's like a couple of girls who are wearing like a skirts, but they're not like mini skirts. It doesn't matter if they're mini skirts or not. Like, this is Britain. We can wear like nice tight dresses and short skirts if we want, you know. You should be able to wear like literally what you want without the fear of being like groped or heckled by anyone, you know. But they're shouting at these girls like this is like a Sharia area, and then there's another guy who's like waiting at you need to leave to these girls, you look like SLUTS. And then there's another guy who is waiting at a bus stop having a cigarette, and they're screaming at him, and this is a Chinese guy, and they're screaming at him saying like, how dare you smoke outside our mosque, because there's a mosque behind it. How dare you, you know, like you can be lashed and stuff. Like, it's so disgusting. So like there genuinely is, like, in Britain, no-go areas in these like pockets of all these separate cultures, you know. And especially in certain places like London, you wouldn't dream about going into them. Like, you're taking your life into your own hands. Glasgow used to be a lot like that. Like, there's certain areas in Glasgow you would not, like, you're risking your life going into these places, you know. So I'm not just saying it's in England. Like, Glasgow used to be like the murder capital of Europe at one point. So yeah, I'm not just saying like it's like these places, but we had a lot of gangs and stuff. But like, this isn't a video about that, so let's keep watching.
This wasn't just harmless showing off. It felt territorial, like an unspoken message. He couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that he was being watched.
A no-go area. It's obviously a no-go area for because he's not from their culture.
Being the only vehicle left made him an obvious target, especially if someone nearby was looking for an easy opportunity. After weighing his options, Brendan made the call to leave. He figured a more secluded, out-of-the-way location would be safer, so he drove down a narrow dirt trail until he found a remote spot. No houses, no passing cars, no lights, just open countryside and silence. At first it seemed peaceful. He parked, locked the doors, and tried to get some sleep. But around 2:30 a.m., roughly 4 hours later, Brendan was jolted awake by the sound of crunching footsteps outside his van. Slow and methodical. Someone was walking around his vehicle, alone, in total darkness, miles from anyone.
I think someone's outside the van. Half past 2.
I wonder if it's because he's parked at what it looks like kind of farmland next to him and stuff. If it's maybe like the farmer, but why wouldn't the farmer like knock on the door and like ask like what you doing and stuff, you know? I'm wondering if it's like the people that work on the farm, because like they're up at all hours, you know, looking after everything from animals and all that stuff. But what if people have followed him from this town?
The individual would then try and open the door.
Someone just tried the door.
Before Brandon could process anything, this transpired.
Hey!
Holy shit. Yeah, that's not a farmer. That is
Without
not a farmer. It sounded like they were smashing in his windows.
They shattered the passenger side window of Brendan's van, sending a blast of glass into the night. The sound alone was enough to jolt him into full alert. In the video's description, Brendan speculated the person may have been trying to steal the small refrigerator sitting on his passenger seat. Whether that was a real target or not, one thing was clear: the moment Brendan made noise, the intruder ran. That suggests it was likely a crime of opportunity, someone looking for an easy grab, not a confrontation. But how did they even find him out there? Brendan believes they may have followed him from town. That theory isn't far-fetched. If someone had noticed him leaving the parking lot alone and quietly tailed him, they could have waited until the most vulnerable moment to strike. As one viewer chillingly commented under the video, when you said you found the person,
I'm willing to bet that that's what happened. Because a farmer or anything like that would not do that.
a quiet spot down a pitch-black lane with nobody around for miles, I was absolutely terrified. How you managed to fall asleep amazes me. If it had been a few guys with hoods pulled down and weapons, you wouldn't have stood a chance. Thankfully, nothing worse happened that night. The encounter left Brendan shaken. Instead of trying to sleep again, he started the van and drove through the night, through the darkness, until the sun came up and he made it back home. It was the right move. He continues to make stealth camping videos to this day.
Drive to a nice, safe area, you know. There's there's a nice police up station quite close and stuff. Just somewhere nice and safe, you know, where you know that it's like, it's sad that we have these no-go areas in Britain. It's super sad. Because we should all be able to live next to each other with humility and kindness and respect for one another. But unfortunately, because our government have messed up integrating people like royally, they've messed it up. This is what's happened. So I might make a video and show you like the no-go areas and the enforcers that walk around telling you that you're not meant to be in this area, you're not welcome there. You know, and this is a country that and I feel sorry because it's mostly like, as I say now, like Glasgow's a lot different now. It's not like that now anymore, but as I say, it used to be, but it's mostly in England, and I feel sorry for like the English people, like whose ancestors built this place, and you know, like with their blood, sweat, tears and stuff like that, and now like areas that maybe they once grew up in as a child, and they can't even go back and visit, you know, because it's a no-go area for because we have like these gangs and stuff now. Like it's sad. It's sad it's happened, you know. I mean, we even had like when we had like the Windrush and that come over here, like it was great. Like everybody everybody integrated so well, and I often like wonder like what happened, you know, like what happened. We even had like you know, during the Second World War, we even had like black GIs, black soldiers, American soldiers, marry British women and elect to stay here because over in America it was like Jim Crow, and they had no rights. They weren't allowed to like go to the same places as white people, and they were treated like second class citizens. And then when they came over to Britain, they were treated like human beings, like the way they deserve to be treated, you know, like they're human beings like anybody else on this planet. And so many of them elected to stay in Britain, and many of them married like British wives, you know, and moved here because moving here meant like they could go to the bars, they can go to the pubs, have a drink, you know, and like there's famous stories about like white indigenous British people fighting with American military police who were trying to get who were trying to segregate the black soldiers who were drinking in a bar in one of the towns. They were like, no, they're not meant to be in here with like white people. And they were like, what are you talking about? Like, this is America. Piss off, like they can be in here if they want. And so what ended up happening was the army camp, the American army camp where they were all based, sent letters to like the bars nearby saying like the black American soldiers were to be banned from the bars, and especially when there was like white people in there. And so the bars like fought back, and ended up banning all the white American military police and stuff like that. So they started putting up. So the American military wanted these signs that says no blacks allowed. So the indigenous British people, instead of putting them signs up, they put signs up that said no white people allowed. You gotta hand it off to the British. We have a bloody brilliant sense of humour when it comes to people trying to tell us what to do in our own country. But unfortunately, that's all changed now. Now we have these pocket areas of people that are trying to tell us what to do. But it's so weird, that this is ended up happening. And as I say, it's only been the last few decades that this has came around. As I said, the Windrush, people that came here, the GIs that stayed here from America, this never happened. But is it because even Indians that came over and started working here, all seem to I remember back in the 90s and stuff, the late 80s, and I was just a kid then, but the 90s, everything was it was great. We had many different kind of cultures here, and everyone was all integrated, and it was amazing. We were getting all introduced to all this amazing new cuisine and this amazing food, from India, from China, from Africa, from Mexico. We're getting introduced to all this amazing, because British food, I won't lie about it, beforehand was pretty bland and not the best. It wasn't the best. So yeah, and people were integrated, and they you come to a country, automatically first thing you do is you learn to speak the language, because how are you going to navigate around the country you're going to live in if you don't speak the language? But unfortunately, that doesn't happen anymore, and now people who, when I saw the GB News report, one guy he interviewed had been in Britain for 20 years. 20 years. And, or no, sorry, it wasn't 20, it was 10 years. 10 years. And in that whole 10 years he'd lived here, he hasn't bothered his arse to try and learn one. The only English that he's learned is no English. He doesn't speak any other English. So now it costs the taxpayers money if he needs to go to the hospital because he needs an interpreter. It costs taxpayers to pay for interpreters if he needs to literally go anywhere, to speak to if he's, I don't know, go tax agent, anything like that, doctor's appointments. So, and a lot of this, it costs money, costs money. It's okay for people to be bilingual. You have a lot of that in America. A lot of Americans speak English and they will speak Spanish, and But here, Yeah, it's like the government's gave up. It's sad.
But the experience changed him. Now he's far more cautious, especially when it comes to camping in remote or isolated areas. Because in stealth camping, the biggest threat isn't the weather. It's who might be watching when you think no one is. On July 15th, 2022, YouTuber The Abandoned Camper uploaded a video documenting her stealth camping experience in a long-forgotten cemetery dating back to
Why are
the
these people
1800s.
even doing
At first,
this?
everything seemed perfectly ordinary. She found a secluded clearing hidden among dense foliage, set up her gear, and settled in for what she expected to be another quiet overnight stay. To pass the time before nightfall, she decided to explore the
Seems like there's too many horror stories about the stealth camping. I've never even heard of this before. Like stealth camping. What a boring thing to do. Like to go out there on your own and just lie in a graveyard. Like that's kind of weird. I don't know. But yeah, all these horror stories are and you're on your own, so you don't know what they're getting a free they're going out there of getting a thrill of the stealth camping so they can watch other people, but then when people spot them and that, then they're freaking out. What? So it's alright for us to do it, but like I said, one of the past videos, past clips, the person with the flashlight that had caught the other stealth camper. Maybe he was stealth camping. You know, you don't know. I don't know anything about bloody stealth camping. But so you're going out there for a thrill to watch other people and see if you can't be hidden away or not spotted and stuff. But then when you're spotted, you're bitching and whining about it. I don't know. There's a bit too many horror stories for my liking about this stuff. It sounds like a stupid idea.
overgrown cemetery grounds, but as she filmed the worn and weathered gravestones, something strange happened. She began to hear what sounded like young ones screaming in the distance.
Like a dog.
She had assumed she was completely alone in the cemetery, tucked away in a forgotten corner of history, but that assumption was quickly shattered as she made her way back to camp. She spotted a group of kids in the distance, partially obscured by the trees. They weren't just passing through, they seemed to be watching her. It became clear they likely knew she was there all along.
So if you can't tell, it's pretty dark here, right now, but there are kids here, like young kids.
When I was a teenager, we used to go into the woods, and I won't lie, that's where we'd go and sneak and have a drink. You know, we'd buy our low percentage alcohol, and we'd get very drunk really easily on it. Our wine coolers and stuff. So yeah, kids hang out in the woods at night, especially teenagers, and if they see someone walking around, yeah, they're going to play pranks and stuff. I know it's scary for the women walking around in the graveyard, but yeah, they're probably wondering what's she doing, walking around a graveyard at night, so away out in the middle, in what's in tucked, as they said, tucked in the middle of nowhere. You know, they're probably wondering, what the heck is she doing?
Kids in the cemetery. And I'm wondering how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and kind of party in the forest or something? That dog kind of ruined it. Not ruined it, I shouldn't say that.
Hey, the dog saved it. The dog saved it. If you hadn't heard the dog barking and stuff like that, and just heard kids wailing and stuff, that'd probably freak you out more. The fact we've got a dog with them, tells you that it's human beings. I know that's scary and stuff, but you also knew that they were kids. So it's probably, as it says, it's probably kids partying in the forest. I did it when I was a teenager. I'm sure Millions of people did it when they were a teenager. It's not uncommon.
Dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring
You're
tomorrow.
not supposed to be there. Like I says, like them kids are like from that area, and they know that there's not supposed to be people in the graveyard at night. They're in the woods, like doing what they're doing. They're probably like watching you, thinking, "What the hell is like that woman doing?" When there's not meant to be anybody in there at night. So that's maybe why they're watching you, love. Like, I know, but as I says, like, yeah, that would be just a bit like freaky, and you shouldn't do that, kids. Like, don't do that to people, because you'll scare them. But like, they may be thinking, like, what is like a lone person like doing in a graveyard? Maybe they're thinking like it's weird themselves. They could be thinking like that's strange. Like, why would someone like be in this graveyard that they're not meant to be in? Like, are they burying something like they're not meant to be doing? Are they up to no good? Like, maybe that's like why they're watching. I don't know. Maybe.
Morning. And because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See? Here. I think they know I'm here. That's not good.
By this point, she was fairly certain the kids had noticed her and were deliberately trying to mess with her. Distant
Yeah.
screaming, the sudden appearance, it all
Typical
felt too
kids.
coordinated to be random. Still, she kept her camera rolling just in case anything else happened. On her way back, she remained cautious, frequently checking over her shoulder to make sure she wasn't being followed.
I'm gonna keep this recording. Just in case. But I'm also gonna stop and find out what they're doing, if they're actually watching me or not. Well, I can see them. I just don't want them to see where I'm going.
Well, stop standing there watching them.
Okay. I think they're going.
Back at her stealth campsite, she tried to shake off the unease and focused on preparing dinner. She had lit a small fire to cook her food, hoping to settle in for the night. But that decision quickly backfired. Not long after the fire was lit, she began to hear faint voices echoing through the trees, followed by the sound of footsteps approaching through the forest. Whoever it was, they were getting closer.
There are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of the forest, especially when it's dark out. So
Why? The right thing to do then, love, is leave. Pack up your shit. You knew there was kids there, and just like go if you don't like being around. Oh my God, some people.
I might pack up
You
and
might
get out
pack
of here
up.
when I think the coast is clear.
What the kids were actually planning remains a mystery, and likely always will. Rather than waiting to find out, she made the smart decision to avoid any potential danger. She quietly packed up her gear, extinguished the fire, and slipped out of the cemetery under the cover of darkness, careful not to make a sound. Whatever their intentions were, she wasn't going to stick around to find out. What would you do in that situation?
Yeah, I'd leave.
WWE superstar Dominic Mysterio won main roster singles gold for the first time in his career at WrestleMania 41. He knocked off Penta, Braun Breaker, and fellow Judgment Day member Finn Balor to become IC champion. Later, he was in the back.
I still love watching. It was like WWF at the time. Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and The Undertaker and all that, when wrestling was like brought over to like the American style stuff was brought over to like Britain. Like Hulk Hogan was my ride or die favourite. I watched every match that he did. Always like shouted for him. Loved his like theme song. In America. I don't know the words to it now. But anyway, yeah, I just love that. These guys, I don't know who they are, but like how fun was like when it was not the WWF when it's changed to WWE now. But how fun was that? You know, like all, you know, at the time, like when you're younger, you didn't know it was all like scripted and stuff. So you generally believed that like they were generally had these beefs with each other, and yeah. So they really like ramped up like the theater of it all, you know. So it wasn't just like the actual fight, and there was the theater and like the arguing, and yeah, it was so much fun, so much fun. That yeah, see when I learned like it was all scripted and stuff, like yeah, it kind of took like the drama out of it a little bit for me, and obviously getting older. But it still doesn't make me dislike like Hogan or that any Hulk Hogan any bit less. I still love that guy. It looks like he's never aged, doesn't he? The guy like still looks like he did like back in the 90s.
Of a golf cart, escorting him out before a fan stepped in front. What happens next is insane. It appears the fan did this on purpose, trying to try and get a lawsuit. I don't know if the fan went through with it, but knowing WWE, they didn't lose if it went to court. But seriously, fans, don't do this.
Whoa, yeah.
A mountain biker's head cam captures the moment he
Oh
approaches
my
a narrow,
God.
rocky trail. The ground is steep,
my
uneven,
God,
and
why the hell would you take your bike over that? You're on like a couple of inches of cliff, and like on the other, if you just like go one slight wrong move, you're going over that cliff and you're dead. Like, dead.
forgiving. There's barely enough space for his tires to grip. On one side, a sheer drop into the canyon. On the other, solid rock. It's the kind of trail that leaves no room for mistakes. One wrong move and you're gone.
Oh no. No. Look at the drop. Look at that. Like, you could see it at the beginning. Oh no! Where do you go from there?
Videos like this show just how risky
Look at
extreme
the
mountain
drop. The drop into the abyss. There's no way. No
can be.
way.
Loose rocks, steep climbs, and trails that hug the edge of a cliff leave no room for error. Riding at high elevation, sometimes hundreds of feet above the canyon floor, takes serious skill and focus.
How the hell
One
did
wrong
you get
move and
round
it's a
that corner?
long,
this
dangerous
bit.
fall.
This bit here where he had to like turn the wheel around. How the heck did he manage to do that?
Ellie and Graham are an elderly couple from the UK who travel the country in their camper van, documenting their adventures on YouTube. In November 2022, they were on one of their trips when an emergency forced them to head home unexpectedly. However, they were too far away to make the journey in one day. After searching online, they found a stealth camping spot on the outskirts of a town called Altrincham. It was a small car park, but pressed for time, they had no other option but to stay there for the night, planning to
Never
continue
heard
their
of the
journey the
place.
next morning. What they didn't anticipate was that this would become the most frightening experience of their entire camping journey. By the time they arrived, it was already dark. They parked the van, settled in, and went to sleep around 11 p.m. But at 1 a.m., they were suddenly woken by loud music blaring from a nearby car. The noise stopped shortly after, so they brushed it off and tried to get back to sleep. That's when they heard a sudden, violent bang against their own van. So loud they initially thought a tree had fallen on them. They rushed outside to see what had happened, and this was a shocking sight they encountered.
Just can't believe it. We've just been woken up with a loud bang, and you dropped something on the floor there. Was that glass?
I'm willing to bet it's you get cars in Britain that go to like these secluded spots that to smoke their weed and whatever, and play their loud music away out of the, so they're not like annoying people in their houses and stuff, and also so they're away from the eyes of like the police. These are probably young people that they're in the car. Yeah, I think probably some of them have been drinking, smoking their weed, whatever. The passengers are drinking and stuff. Yeah, they've got and out and done that. Unfortunately, this kind of shit happens in this country.
2 bricks. And someone's just smashed Merlin's windows while listening. So no, we don't recommend this as a place to stop. They smashed the windscreen, but Graham's hoping he can drive with that.
What asshole?
With a broken window and a cracked windscreen. 200 miles from home.
After inspecting the area, Ellie and Graham found 3 bricks scattered around their damaged van. The windshield had been cracked, the passenger side window was completely smashed, and a large dent was left just behind the sliding door. But even more unsettling than the physical damage was the emotional toll. Both were left deeply shaken. There was a chilling thought that lingered. What if the attack had been employed to force them out of the safety of their locked van? Hours went by with no one approaching. No one attempted to break in and no follow-up. Yet the silence didn't bring peace. It only...
Yeah, I don't know if it's a ploy to get them out of the log van, because, like, didn't that show them actually coming out of their van? So, yeah, they came out of the van. So if it was a ploy to get them out of the van, then the people would have waited a few minutes to see, like, them coming out, and then, yeah, it got to them. But obviously, like, these people that have smashed the windows have bolted after they've done it. So, yeah, it's more than likely teenagers. Like I said, like, you do get spots. There's spots around the area I live where you'll go drive past and there'll be like 5 or 6 cars all parked. They're blasting their music. You know what they're doing, they're smoking their weed and whatever. Yeah, they don't, most of the time they don't bother anyone at all. At all. Yeah, that's what they're doing. But unfortunately, you do get some assholes.
Deep in their fear, they've been targeted in a deliberate violent act, but had no idea what was behind it or what their motive could have been. Later that night, they spoke to a family parked in another camper van nearby. That family told them they heard screeching tires immediately after the attack, confirming that the perpetrator had fled by car.
Yep.
What's more, the fact that there had only been one loud impact noise, despite 3 separate bricks being thrown, suggested this was likely a coordinated attack, possibly involving at least 3 people throwing bricks at the same time. But why target an elderly couple, only to flee without taking anything?
How are they meant to, like, obviously, like, yeah, I'm not, like, justifying what, like, the kids, these, like, and I'm betting these are, like, teenagers or, like, young adults. How are they meant to know, like, it's elderly people in there? Like, they don't have extra bloody vision, They're probably high or, like, and as I say, it's like, normally, like, when these cars, like, park up, you've got, like, people in the back, like, drinking, and, the driver never seems to drink. They'll normally, and they'll all be smoking and drinking and whatnot, and this driver normally just smokes his weed as well. But, yeah, they're not going to know, like, who's in there. And the fact that they heard the driver, the tire screech off, is just proof that it wasn't a ploy to get them out. They're just assholes.
Saying a word. If the intent was simply to scare campers away, why was the other van left completely alone? There were no answers, no suspects, no clues, just a terrifying, unprovoked assault that remains unexplained to this day. The incident left Ellie and Graham too frightened to ever try stealth camping again, but in time, they recovered from the experience, and today they're back on the road, continuing their adventures with a bit more caution and a lot more awareness. This next clip takes us to Mount Ibu, one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes. Located on Halmahera Island in the North Maluku province, it's known for its regular eruptions and unpredictable activity. Since November last year, Mount Ibu and several neighboring volcanoes have been erupting.
Please tell me that you don't have idiots actually going up there if this is known for this is an active volcano that's known for like small eruptions, and they're unpredictable.
Off and on, creating a tense situation for both residents and travelers. The footage you're about to see comes from people who were right there as it happened. Some were climbing the volcano when it began to erupt, while others captured it from safer ground below. The result is a dramatic compilation of raw, unfiltered moments as nature shows its full power.
She just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. As you see the smoke and obviously coughing because of the sulfur, yeah, just bellow out of the volcano. What a bloody genius. Yeah, just stop. Oh, now you're picking up pace. Oh my gosh, look at those drops. Oh, they're so lucky. So lucky, look at that thing. That is erupting. Oh no.
Mount Ibu's latest eruption sent a massive column of lava and thick black smoke high into the air, soaring above the peak and visible for kilometers. Indonesia's geological agency reported lava flows stretching up to 2 kilometers from the crater. The eruption was powerful, but no new evacuation orders.
So lucky. Like, lava, yeah, billowing the smoke, the temperature of that smoke, oh, they're so lucky.
Were issued. However, people living or visiting within a 5.5 kilometer radius were strongly urged to leave the area. Officials also warned residents to wear masks and other protective gear to reduce health risks from falling ash. Mount Ibu remains one of Indonesia's most active volcanoes. Just last year, it erupted more than 2,000 times, a clear sign of the ongoing threat these volcanoes pose to nearby communities. A woman is filming herself before this crazy incident transpires.
This will be the last one, and then I'll do part 2, because, yeah, it's getting on a bit. Oh my god.
As the woman records herself, a man appears in the background, slowly walking in her direction. The moment he spots the camera, he stops. Without saying a word, he turns and quickly walks away. It isn't until later, when she plays back the footage, that she realizes just how strange the moment really was. Sometimes a simple act of recording is enough to change someone's mind.
It looked like he was going to pounce on her.
Cameras can serve as powerful deterrents, forcing people to think twice when they know they're being watched. It's hard not to wonder how that moment might have played out if she hadn't been filming. A minivan is driving down a dark road at night when it comes to a sudden stop. A large tree has fallen, completely blocking the way forward. The driver slows down, unsure what to do next. Then, out of the shadows, figures begin to appear, walking straight toward the vehicle.
I'm wondering, like, because, like, this is a known, like, I don't know, I've heard of this happening where gangs will, like, put trees in the middle of the roads to, like, halt cars. Then when the car can't get past or anything like that, they'll rob the car, or in some cases unfortunately kill the occupants and rob the car. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yep, holy crap, there's a pile of them, so like they almost know we're watching as that car's driving up to the log. Yeah, it's a planned robbery.
The driver picks up on the danger almost instantly. Without hesitation, they shift the van into reverse and start backing away fast. Just beyond the headlights, a group of figures stands near the fallen tree. It's starting to look less like a random accident and more like a trap. Situations like this aren't unheard of. In some areas, criminals place obstacles in the road on purpose. They want you to stop. They want you boxed in. Once the vehicle is still, the people inside become easy targets. But this time, quick thinking made all the difference. The driver didn't wait around to find out what would happen next. That decision may have saved their life.
They were going to hurt them because, like, they're throwing shit and that. They're throwing stuff at them. And it looks like some of them have got, like, knives and that in their hands.
This next clip has been circulating online for some time, drawing attention for all the wrong reasons. It's not just the footage itself that stays with you, it's a story behind it. There's real tragedy tied to what you're about to watch. Observe.
What is this? Oh my god, like, why the fuck would you do that, you bloody idiot? Even I can, like, say, like, this is so stupid. Why would you jump into water, like a little, like, cut out bit of ice, into a frozen over lake, where if the currents get you or anything like that, you are dead. And then you're in the dark to boot. So trying to find, like, that hole where you just, like, jumped into is going to be super hard because there's no light coming into it. So how are you going to find, like, the hole you just jumped into? You absolute... And the fact, like, I'm willing to bet that, because he said that this ended in tragedy, that and then she's jumping in to a frozen lake in a bathing suit. Normally people wear specialised gear, like when going into, like, frozen water. So there's hypothermia that'll set in after a few seconds, so it makes it harder to swim, stuff like that. There's no light to show her. She just, like, jumped in. So therefore, like, the trajectory of her body looks like it would have went under the ice. So how's she going to find the hole back out? How's she going to swim back and find the hole back out?
Быстрее! Быстрее! Все сюда! Все сюда! О! Туда, Юра! Юра, туда! Юра, туда! Юрка, вот так!
Блядь, туда, вниз.
Скорее сюда! Ребята!
At Lake Utoya, just south of St. Petersburg, a religious ritual turned tragic. 40-year-old lawyer.
You see her? When she jumped in, her body went in at an angle, so she went under the ice.
Юрка, вот так!
Блядь, туда, вниз.
Скорее сюда! Ребята!
At Lake Utoya, just south of St. Petersburg, a religious ritual turned tragic. 40-year-old lawyer Anna Isova took part in a traditional ice swimming ceremony, stepping into a cutout in the frozen lake as her two children, ages 10 and 14, watched nearby. The air was bitterly cold, around -5 degrees Celsius, and the surface of the lake was thick with ice. Moments after entering the water, Anna was swept away by a hidden current beneath the surface. Her children screamed for help as she...
Currents, everything, in the bin, there's the fact... Yeah. Oh, God.
disappeared under the ice and never came back up. Rescuers arrived quickly and launched a search, but she couldn't escape the freezing depths. Recovery efforts are still underway. This heartbreaking incident is a stark reminder how dangerous winter ice swimming can be,
Still haven't been able to recover her. And her children, basically, they're standing there watching, like, their own mother's death. What a stupid, but this is a religious ceremony. Like, why don't you do it in, like, why don't you do it, like, somewhere, maybe a bit more safer, do it during the day, and maybe, like, don't get people to, like, jump in like that. Maybe, I don't know, like, this is a ridiculous religious ceremony, and I'm a religious person. Oh.
Planning and tradition behind it. One hidden current is all it takes to turn a sacred moment into a devastating loss. A video taken inside a passenger plane captures a terrifying moment just minutes before landing in South Korea. Passengers are seated, bracing themselves as wind roars through the cabin. Loose items flutter in the air. In the corner of the frame, you can just barely see it. The plane's door is somehow open mid-flight.
Oh, God. Hasn't that happened to like aircraft in America where the doors have fell off? Oh. I'd imagine being on those front seats. Just being able to look out, you know, the bloody oh no, that'd be terrifying.
Police later arrested a 33-year-old passenger for opening the door while the plane was still
someone
flying.
opened it. Someone opened it. Oh, bloody idiot.
600 feet above the ground. At cruising altitude, opening a plane door is nearly impossible. The difference in cabin pressure keeps it sealed shut, but as the plane descends, the pressure inside and outside the cabin begins to equalize. That's when opening the door becomes physically possible. Even then, doing so is extremely dangerous. A strange sight lit up the night sky over southern Canada, and one man caught it all on camera. Thomas Parsons shared a video and a set of photos to Facebook showing what he saw above Ottawa, and it's hard to explain. The footage captures something unusual moving across the sky, and it's left a lot of people wondering what exactly they're looking at. The video shows a peculiar glowing orb. Thomas Parsons says this isn't the first time he's seen something strange in the sky. He often takes walks late at night during the...
These have been seen over the sky, especially in America and like Cuba, like especially like New Jersey and stuff like that. Like these weird orbs, like which looks like they're saying they're like plasma orbs. These are being seen like all over, and it is weird. Like no one knows what they are.
Summer, and this marks the third time in 3 years he spotted a glowing orb, always near the same light rail construction site. Whatever it is, it keeps coming back. Parsons tried to capture the glowing orb.
Looks like a portal or something, doesn't it? Like a wormhole where you expect like the Starship Enterprise to come through. Yeah. But I have been seeing like loads of videos of people capturing these things.
Orb on video using his phone, but something strange happened.
It does look like a portal or something. It looks like a tornado inside like this light. You know, so like you know the rings and stuff. Like it looks like a portal.
The recording stopped on its own just 8 seconds in. He quickly switched to taking photos instead. The orb hovered silently in place for nearly 20 minutes, its color slowly shifting from white to deep unsettling red. Then, just as quietly as it arrived, it vanished without a sound. As soon as the orb disappeared, the silence broke. Neighborhood dogs started barking, and the usual night sounds, birds, insects, returned like someone flipped a switch. Adding another layer to the mystery, Parsons said his phone grew noticeably hot during the encounter. It warmed up significantly while he was trying to record, something he hadn't experienced before. With so many strange objects showing up in the skies lately, this one just adds to the growing list of unexplained sightings, each one raising more questions than answers.
Yep.
A man stands at his kitchen sink, talking to the camera. He is explaining how his headlamp suddenly exploded while he was using it. As he speaks, the same headlamp resting nearby starts sparking again. Then, right there on camera, it bursts into flames a second time.
My God, my headlamp just blew up on my head. Look at this. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Oh my God, like, he's lucky, like, that wasn't on his head. Like, was that made in Israel? Was that meant to be sent to the Houthis? I don't know.
It just blew up again. Look at this. It felt like I got punched in the back of the head when it first blew, and I reached up and threw it off my head, and burnt the hell out of my hands. Oh, the first finger's the worst. Can't really see it. That finger got cooked too. Oh, my God. And then it just blew up again on the counter. I can't believe this. Oh, this hurts. Oh, my God.
Holy shit!
Oh, my God. Holy shit.
What the heck is wrong with that thing? Look at that again.
Oh, this hurts. Oh, my God. Holy shit. Oh, my God. Holy shit. Oh, this hurts. Oh, I can't believe this thing.
Oh yeah, I'd be suing the hell. Suing the hell. You're getting millions, mate. Sue the hell out of the company that makes that shit. Oh, it's probably made in China or something like that. Hence why it blew up. But God only knows. Therefore, yeah, you're probably getting no payout. But if that's like a company that you're able to sue, do it. Do it. But I'm willing to bet it's probably like made in somewhere like China. Where you're taking your life into your own hands buying electrical goods from that country.
My God.
Get rid of that thing.
Oh my God.
That's just a fucking bomb.
I am thankful I had this thing on, even though I got hurt. Because if that wasn't on my head and I wasn't home, it would have burnt my house down.
Yeah.
It absolutely would have burnt my house down, for sure. I can't believe that. Oh.
He keeps recording as the fire flashes to life, catching the entire moment on video. Fires like this are usually the result of a battery failure.
Can we
Most of the
see,
time
like,
it's
the
linked to
brand?
overheating, overcharging, or damage to the lithium-ion cells inside. When a battery gets punctured or its internal parts short-circuit, it can trigger what's known as thermal runaway. That's when heat builds up so quickly that the battery can catch fire or even explode. These types of failures aren't extremely common, but they're not rare either. They tend to happen more often with cheaply made devices or electronics that have already been damaged. That's why it's important to stick with high-quality batteries and chargers. And if a device starts to feel unusually hot, swell up, or act strange, don't take chances.
Yeah, don't buy cheap electrical shit from places like China.
Stop using it right away.
Alright, we're going to pause now and I'll continue this video. I hope it gets better because like a lot of them have been like, they're not really scary or anything like that. It's mostly just like things messing up or idiots or things like that. But interesting to watch nevertheless. But I'm going to pause it here and I'll do, how long have we got left? Yeah, I mean, come on, it's like 2 hours long, you know. So I'll probably do it in 3 parts. Alright, love you all so much and I'll see you later. Bye.